All right. Hey, good afternoon, Waycross family. This is your second city update. As you know, we do these twice a month. We kind of got the schedule mixed up this week due to some training conflicts and then it being a extra Thursday in here. But want to go ahead and do this today. Make sure everybody's still kind of tracking some of our updates and kind of go from there. For those who might come in later on, this is geared to be the long version. But what I'll do today, I'll cover my slides, and then I'll kind of stand by if I have any questions. If not, we'll probably cut it kind of early, as I do have some other priorities that I could kind of address. But I want to make sure that I do provide as much information as possible about some things going on in the city. And if we can pull the slides up, I'll go ahead and start with the vision and the mission, and hopefully y'all can see those when they pop up. So, so the vision has not changed, and the mission has not changed. And for anyone that might be chiming in here new, just want to reiterate that we kind of created this uh, upon my arrival, and this is kind of like I said, the vision and the mission is how we kind of dictate everything else. This align with the charter core values, uh, and I'll let you kind of look at that right now to see what it kind of says. And of course, this is about having a great workforce like we do that are dedicated to embedding the lives of our citizens. And our mission, of course, is about being open, honesty, and being financially responsible for our service that we provide our citizens. And I feel like personally that we do stay in line with our mission statement and our vision. Um, However, as always, if you have some recommendations or some feedback or some suggested changes, reach out and let us know. We can go to the next slide, please. And these are um, our priorities. It should pop up in a minute. These are our priorities: core services, infrastructure, quality of life, and then our city workforce. And these are our big buckets, priorities. And then inside of each of these buckets or these bins are the other group priorities. If we can go to that slide next. And these are actually the priorities within the priorities, broken down by bucket list. And I'm going to cover some of these at the end today of this slide presentation. But if you go to our regular meetings, commission meetings and working sessions, we discuss these in detail. Something I'm going to try at the next meeting. I'm going to try to take all of these priorities and kind of draw a picture of the things and actions we are taking right now. Uh, as far as inputs into these priorities, so you can better understand. I'll use. Let me pull one real fast. I will use Let's look. Streets and roads. So of course, streets and roads falls underneath infrastructure. Was one of our major priorities. But within that streets and roads, we're doing several things to for that priority. So one, we're using data technology to make sure we're doing the worst roads first. We got a grant program now. We did sign a grant writer. We're trying to get some additional monies to cover these streets, and of course, we're always reevaluating the quality of our streets. We also are doing what we call benchmarking and scheduling the maintenance of our streets. So what I'm trying to say is you'll kind of see that word streets and roads, and then it'll be like a little line. It'll be probably 3 to 4 items that are associated with that priority to kind of explain how we are addressing that priority, if that makes sense. So, but we're gonna try that at the next working session. So it might be long. I know my staff don't want to hear that, but I want to make sure that these priorities are clearly understood by all citizens. That way, we all kind of on the same information. And we can go to the next slide. And the next slide is going to be, of course, our it's our plan, our master plan. It has many different names. I like to call it, 10 years from now. If we already done the short term, we're in the midterm right now. You can see some of those items. They kind of stay the same. Uh, right now, we haven't really changed anything. One area in there, and I know everybody's where they're right now. We're going through a upgrade of our software at all levels, for us finances, utilities, codes, public works, and we're going through that phase right now. But that was always kind of in the schedule to do. I'm really excited about that. You've been seeing our posts here lately. It's going to bring a lot of capabilities and a new capacity to our citizens that they did not have before. So we're excited about that. But this plan here, like I said, is a 10-year plan. I've always said that from day one when I first arrived here. It's going to take about 10 years to really reset Waycross in the right direction that so the city and the community thrive. And I think we're well on our way to doing those things. You know, some of it's going to be harder than others for the long-term sustainability. But I feel like my staff, the commission, the mayor, everybody's online right now. We're doing a great collaborative effort to keep these things moving forward. So this is a 10-year plan. If you get a chance, just kind of read over those items within those, the midterm and long term, so you better understand the direction that we're going in as a city and a community. And we can go to the next slide. And this is where I kind of get into my topics for this discussion today. And of course, I always start with safety. And for those who chimed in last week, this is a similar slide, has not changed. I want to keep stating we have got to focus and do better with this in our community, especially with the summer month actually being here now. So again, our speeding continues to be a problem. We're trying our best to mitigate it, with police presence and a few other things. But for whatever reason, Waycross loves speeding. I just ask, and I don't want to, normally I get on my soapbox. I would just say and keep it simple. Please slow down. It is critical to somebody's life. Same thing with following posted signs. We have been getting in requests for speed limit signs in certain areas where they did not have a speed limit. So we've been doing a great job, thanks to Public Works, about getting those out there. But for those who need to know, though, if you're in a neighborhood or anywhere in city limits, if it's not a speed line posted, the recommended speed is 35 miles per hour. I would just say that. But we're trying our best right now to go evaluate back to the streets and roads comment I made earlier. We're trying to go back and just kind of make sure that we do have street speed limits posted on all our streets and roads. So I know there's a few streets that's not posted, but right now we're trying to get a good inventory and kind of mitigate that issue. And of course, all accidents, I keep saying this, the mayor says, the commission says, they are preventable 95% of the time if we just follow the rules and regulations. So I ask again that you slow down, you pay attention to those around you, and this is a community solution. It's a community problem. It's also a community solution that requires we all kind of buy in to keep each other safe. So in closing on this slide, just once again, please slow down, follow the posted speed limits, follow the turn arrows, follow the lights. Again, I don't want to be there on it. We just need your help with this. Next slide. And I think, and I might spend a little time on this. We should be going to the potholes and sinkholes conversation. So a little bit of background. I saw a comment one day that we just throw dirt into the holes to fill them. That's far from what actually happens. And I won't get too much in the weeds on this. I'm going to have my public works director do a separate video to explain how we mitigate potholes. Now, we just don't throw dirt in there and move on. We have some new bonding material, and we use hot and cold patches. There's a lot of things that goes into these potholes beyond just throwing dirt in it and stuff like that. So, but I think we're going to probably end up doing, I'm going to get with some of the other directors, probably shoot a video so you actually can see that. Because I think a picture is worth 1,000 words, and it'll better explain the steps we take to fix those potholes and those sinkholes. With the sinkhole, it's even more complex because we have to do a lot of evaluation on how we're going to mitigate the sinkholes, and we don't know what that is until we get down there deep in. We run the camera, do other testing, and it can take some time. It can take some time to mitigate it. That's why you might see a sinkhole, and you might see the water coming out, and you might be wondering what they're doing. I can promise you that we identify sinkholes and potholes pretty much immediately because we ride around and we look for these things. But in some cases, we got to pull locators and we got to get permits depending where it's located at. We might have to get a camera and go in the ground and look at a possible solution or a fix. It's a lot of things that have to happen to this, and it's not like it can be like fixed that day. And I'm not sure if everybody understands how this works, and maybe this is something else we do as well. Maybe we put together a short video to kind of explain how we mitigate potholes and sinkholes. and that way maybe our citizens can better appreciate all the effort that goes into fixing these problems. But with that, I want to talk about our priorities of potholes and sinkholes. So first, of course, if it's like safety, we're gonna jump on as fast as we can. Anything with safety, safety is always gonna be the first priority. So that's gonna be how we handle most of our potholes and sinkholes. The second thing that we kind of look at is gonna be service. And I was talking to somebody this morning about this. Um, I know people might see water, and I would say this too. I hate to lose any water, but if it's not, hindering service for a customer, then it's not going to have as high as a priority if it's a leak and it's limiting service for customers. So I hope you can kind of understand the different scenarios that happen sometimes. Also, if it's in a location where I will use Ozzie Davis right now, um, that's going to be really, really expensive, and it's right now it's not impairing anybody, and it's not a deep sinkhole or pothole. And I'm really trying to look at the cost that we can better fix it, and it's not taking water from anybody, any local business or resident. So we do know about these, but I always have to kind of look at these different variables before we go ahead and try to address them. Also, when you look at anything on a state maintained highway, you got to put permits. It takes a little while longer than maybe something in our right of ways. So, and then of course, cost is going to be always a variable, and then other variables. It might be location. It might be a pothole down a dead end. Because of funding, I might not fix that as much as a pothole on a main travel street. So I hope everybody kind of understands that. I kind of mentioned the hot cold patch materials that we use. Like I said, we're going to do a video on this at some point in the near future so you can better understand how that works. And then the app notification. I would say this. If you see a pothole or a sinkhole or anything, the fastest way to get it resolved is going to be that app. Go ahead and take a picture, hit the address, and sit it in. And in most cases on potholes, that's going to be a same-day service. Now, if for whatever reason you can't use the app, of course, call it in, call your commissioners, the mayor, myself, call Public Works. But the fastest and most efficient way is going to be to use that app. So again, I ask you to download the apps and then use the app as best as you can. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. And it's going to be about the Army Corps of Engineer assessment visit. So we had the Army Corps of Engineers come down early last week, early last week, and we had a meeting with them. I've been in regular discussions with the Corps on a lot of funding opportunities, getting some guidance and some feedback on better ways to mitigate and maintain our canal so they serve the community better. They've come down on their own on separate visits and did their own assessment. But this particular time, they came down and met with my staff, myself, Public Works, the engineering department, community service, business integrations, fire and police. We all kind of went out and we had what we call a terrain walk in the Army. We walked the area, looked at some of our trouble spots that we have. We discussed some fixes on the spot. We kind of went around and looked at some areas that we as a staff right now don't have the expertise to kind of correct. So it was some great dialogue between those groups of individuals to kind of forge a better way ahead. You can see some of these bullets on here. These are some of the things that came down for, and then we discussed while we were out there. So, of course, the Corps engineers, as many of you know, they actually put these canals in the ground some years back, and we had a great dialogue. And like I say, they're reaching out to see if we can get some additional funding. Some will be grant opportunities, will be match free. Some will require matches. They're going to do some modeling, and some additional studies to help me with some of the deterioration of the banks of the canals and some steps we can take to make sure that erosion does not keep negatively impacting select citizens and select neighborhoods. So overall, like I said, it was a great visit. We got a lot done. I learned some stuff. I did right after that, immediately after that, sat down with some citizens and we kind of went through some trouble spots too. We got some good feedback from those citizens. And before I go on, I really appreciate um, the group of citizens living on certain canals that gave us access to get in here and clean those canals out and really work with us. And they've been very positive, especially individuals living on College Street. I know they were negatively impacted with the last hurricane and the floods, and we feel really bad. That's been a problem for a long, long time. I think some of the things we've done over the last month should prevent that from happening again. I don't want to never say never. We got a few more things we got to do in that area of the community. But I want to personally thank them, especially when they were, lost furniture, lost food in some cases. They were really patient with us and professional. I check on that area before every storm and during the storm because, I know it's one of our areas subject to flooding. And but that being said, the people, also the homeowners on Dewey Street, they allow us to go in there and kind of do some things that really need to be done, haven't been done in a long time. So we appreciate those citizens that really add to the solution and on which they did. So again, it was a very productive meeting. Like I said, now it's going to be follow-up meetings because some things that they kind of want to follow up on as far as us, and they gave me a few things that they need to be returned to them. So I'm doing that right now, trying to put together the additional data they requested. And once we have that next meeting, I will put that on the commission work session, and then we'll brief the citizens on the overall strategy for the canals. But that being said, and I'm gonna touch on canal maintenance at the end here. I really feel like, and you can see it, like I said, downtown area was one of our main sticking points. The public works department and team, they've done a great job cleaning out these canals. Once again, thanks to the guidance of the commission, allowing us to get a few more mowers and cranes, and we're really going hard right now. We've done a lot more this year for storm prep than we ever done, and I'm really thankful that that we're doing that because it's gonna, first save money so people not adversely affected with the flooding, and then it's gonna make things better if we do have a hurricane. So great job by the team, and you'll see if you go around the city, you'll see some of our equipment, like they're going hard every day to get prepared, and we're working our way around the whole canal on the points we can get to. It's gonna be some other areas that probably get a little more attention than others because we've identified those areas requiring more attention. So just so stay tuned. Please be watching. We're gonna post videos every time we hit a particular portion of the canal. And like I said, I'm excited that we have a little more knowledge of how to do this, and the fact that we're doing it because we have the equipment now and the trained personnel. So we're great about that. We can go to the next slide. And I kind of discussed this before at the last working session, blighted properties, and I won't go too far into these bullet points. But I will say this: we're taking a serious look at our procedures, and we're going to make sure that we exhaust all our procedures moving forward to tackle this blight. There's some things that's in the charter that we have not executed yet as far as blighted property, and you'll see this at the next meeting. I'm going to talk about that, some additional steps about mitigation. We're going to reprioritize what houses we knock down, when we knock them down, and a few other things. So I just want the so what of this slide is just I want citizens to know we're aware. I mean, we understand your opinions of the blighted property, and we're doing everything we can do right now. And the thing I'm coming to realize now, we just need a different plan. So we're gonna change up midstream and refocus on what we're trying to do with these blighted properties, and hopefully over the next year or two, you'll see a significant decrease in blighted properties. Hopefully these properties will get sold off and we'll get homes built and things of that nature. And hopefully the next 5-10 years, we'll solve the problem all the way. But just know we're working it. I appreciate all your feedback and all the positivity coming in with it for those who are most adversely affected. But no, we're going to do our best to mitigate the situation. And with this, If you have any like recommendations, I know some people are not from Waycross, and they might have been living in another city where they dealt with blighted property. Maybe they solved it. This past weekend, I attended the GMA conference, and I talked to a lot of other city managers. I will tell you, this is everywhere in the state of Georgia, and nobody has really figured it out. But everybody is trying. So Waycross is not unique in that aspect. But we're gonna try our best to like I say, we're gonna get a good inventory of all our blighted properties, which we didn't have before. We're gonna reach out to select citizens and help us out with that, and then we're gonna use everything possible legally that we have right now to fix these properties. And after that, we're gonna come back and reassess what's left and determine if we can do anything else. All right, we can go to the next slide, and this is kind of like a miscellaneous slide. And these are some random things I've been kind of talking about with the community. I want to make sure I follow up with everybody. We get questions on some of these daily. So first thing, as far as debris pickup, there is a measurement requirement to pick up shrubbery, and I want to tell you why it is that way. We have to pay for it to get grinded, and when we bring it and it's beyond those measurements, we got to do it ourselves, and we actually lose money. That's why we ask you stay in those parameters as outlined in our charter and also on our website about debris. The same thing with bulk items. You have to call that in, citizens. You can't just stick stuff out there and leave it and expect it to get picked up. And then in some cases, depending on what the bulk items is, it might be an extra cost. I need your help with this because we have a lot of people that throw stuff out there. Don't call it in. It sits for weeks. Then we have to send out the code enforcement because it is blight at that point in time. And all this could be avoided if you just would check the website and look at the pickup times. And I think it's Tuesday and Thursday, and then set your items out the day before. So I really need us to all work at that better, just so we get rid of some of this blight. It doesn't have to be that way. And the same thing with the shrubbery. Just please follow the guidelines. It'll get picked up much faster. You'll get better service and better support, and the community will look that much better. Illegal dumping. We have an uptick in illegal dumping. And again, we're gonna look at some ways to mitigate that. We put those big bins out twice a year. I'm thinking about doing it 4 times a year. And even with illegal dumping, again, back to the bulk items, you can just simply call and pay a much smaller fee to get that stuff picked up. You don't have to throw beds on the side of the road. There's no need for that. You can just call it in and get picked up. It's just that simple. Storm prep. So with the storm prep, it's going to be a town hall / update next week by the staff and emergency management, and I think Georgia Power might be there. And they're going to talk about a few things you should do for preparation of the storm, and they're going to inform you of some things that we're doing as a city in preparation for the storm. This is very important. If you look at the modeling that's coming in for these storms, they project at least 5 major storms to come through between the end of June and July, late July in the southeast. So we're going to go over some things you can do to get prepared. We also are hoping to get a proper inventory. One thing that we noticed last year, when the power went out, we had a lot of calls coming in from people out of town. Hey, can you check on my mom or check on my father or my grandparents? You want to make sure that we find a way to do that better this year. We're going to reach out to the churches. Hopefully the churches already have like a good list of where people stay at. And that way we can go check on them automatically and then reassure their families that they're safe. And also, if you are in that category, if you're elderly, please go ahead and reach out to the city right now so we can kind of document you right now, and we'll know where you are if and when we have some adverse weather. And last thing I'm gonna say about the slides, and you probably can read it, says dignity and respect. We went to a meeting yesterday with our state legislators, and they made a comment about everybody working together as a community to improve the community, and they asked, and I second this. I don't always agree with their decisions, but but I'm not going to make fun of their decisions. I'm not going to be negative. I'm going to try to do my part here as your city manager to support those decisions. But if you really care about Waycross, you're gonna be doing or finding every way possible to care about Waycross and doing those things that bring positive results. And we can disagree and on policy, performance. Like I said from day one, we welcome criticism here because it makes us better. What we don't want to do, what we're not going to do any longer, is be disrespected just because you feel like you can anymore. So I would say it's up front. I don't answer any more questions of people that's using vulgar language over social media. We have a broad audience. So I'm gonna have my team focused on those people being professional, and and like I said, you can be critical. I want your criticism. We just no longer tolerate your disrespect because there's no need for that. Like I said, we are trying our best right now as a staff to meet the demands of this city. And I will say this, and I'm not throwing stones back in the past, but everybody knows there's a lot that needs to be done here in the city of Waycross that was not done for years and years and years. And we're just now really the crisp of all those problems. And it's going to take some time to fix that. And we're all in. My staff is all in. The commission's all in. The mayor's all in. And we're doing everything we can do. So if you got positive comments, positive criticism, positive recommendations, questions, concerns, all means, keep having them come in. I'm just asking you to show a little bit of class and have a little more dignity, a little more respect that you want the same in return. And I'm saying that because I'm very frustrated from the citizen. I'm gonna call him a clown out here who went and turned all those water spigots on at our cemetery recently, because that's blatant disrespect, not of the city or the workforce, but those who are transitioning on and their family members. So if you got that much of a problem, you can take the time to go turn the spigots on. You can take the same amount of time to come to City Hall, make an appointment, or call City Hall, make an appointment, and tell me how to better address your concerns that you have with our performance. And that way the matter gets resolved. And we want to do these crazy things to send some type of message. I'm not sure what it was. So again, I'm just asking that we treat everybody with the same dignity and respect that you would want in return when addressing the issues and concerns. And I hope everybody understands that. All right. Okay, I went kind of fast. I did give myself about 30 minutes to get all that out. And I'll wait for some questions for a little bit. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a little bit early today. But these slides will be up for 30 days on our Facebook and then on YouTube if you want to go back and look at some things. And again, if you got any comments, concerns, or recommendations, we're always open for that. Just give us a call, use the app, or talk to us in person. We're always available. So as a small recap, I would just say safety remains our priority as far as city operations. We're trying our best to address infrastructure needs as far as potholes, sinkholes, streets, roads and streets, leaks, all those things. That's that's a daily response for us. We do have a priorities listing on how we approach things. Like I said, of course, safety is going to be first, then service, and then cost, and a few other variables. So we're doing a great thing with that. With the canal, like I said, we did reach out because in some situations, some things were beyond our expertise. So we had the experts come in to kind of give us a little more guidance and better ways to approach things. And I'm excited about that because we do have some new techniques that we would apply as far as canal maintenance. And then our sheer overall effort with the canals, like, I hope you can see it. I can see it every day. Like I said, in some spots in the canal, I had never seen the water there because they were so overgrown. But your public works team is out here doing a humongous job about getting that cleaned out. And like I say, we'll be in a much, much better situation than we were last year as far as storm prep. And then with the blighted properties, again, we're going to start exhausting by our charter and our policy and our legal aspects, everything we can do to address blighted properties. And then after that, we're going to come back and reassess what the outcome was and then figure out what we can do next. But again, this is going to take some time. This is a big problem, a long-lasting problem, and it's gonna take some time to mitigate it, but we're gonna be all in and do what we can do. And I guess the last thing I would say, like I say, we have our policies on our website. You have the app. We communicate over Facebook. It's not just me. Each of my directors do live streams. We have some planned for next week. You can call in face to face. We are here if you have any issues, concerns, or recommendations. That you want things addressed. And we try our best to meet the demands of our citizens. So, in some cases, some things might take a little bit longer because of proximity, sometimes cost, sometimes expertise. But I feel like we are on the right path right now of making Waycross better. And I just ask to the last point, on the last slide, just we show each other some grace, and we treat everybody with dignity and respect. And we can disagree, and we can think differently. And there's nothing wrong with thinking differently as long as we think together. And we all trying to be better. So help us not let you down by being better with us. And with that, I'm going to pause and see if any comments come up or questions. And if not, I will sign off. And we'll just see. I didn't see many questions come up early on, so we might not have too many questions. No. So when we don't have any questions, I just assume I did a great job talking. But at the same time, I know this session sometimes is hard for people to kind of chime in on too, and I understand that. So if you can, just go back and look at the video again. And if you got questions, then you can send them to us. As a reminder, these videos get taken down from Facebook after 30 days, our live streams. But you can find them on our YouTube channel if you want to go back and look at some things. And we do, for those 30 days, we do monitor the comments, and we try to make sure we come back and answer any questions in there. And I got some text coming in. I guess they can't do the comment on Facebook. So again, on the leaks, and we have a prioritization as far as the leaks. And again, it's going to be safety first. So if we got a leak and it's causing a loss of life, loss of property, loss of limb, something like that, that's gonna bump up to the top of the priority. Hope everybody kind of can understand that. Next would be service. If it's an interruption of service, so if we got a leak and it's in a housing area and multiple homes, or they don't have water, that's going to be jump to the top of the priorities. And then a cost is going to be a input to that. So, of course, if we got something that's quite expensive, and we might have to finance it, we're going to do everything we can do. But if it's not in an immediate area where you're losing service or safety, then it might be pushed to the back somewhat. And then the other variables as well. But like I say, we do have a prioritization list, and then we pretty much are aware of most all the leaks out here. Like I say, this question is reference to Ossie Davis. I've talked about this in the past. The lines in Ossie Davis are quite old. In some cases, 80 years. It's copper. It's that clay piping. It's old materials, and it's failing right now. That would be a major fix. We're talking about millions and millions of dollars. So we're trying to do the patchwork right now until we have that long-term plan that I'm discussing with GDOT about, assisting us with. So that's part of it as well. But in most cases, the leaks on Ossie Davis, they are not affecting service. They are not affecting safety, but they do have a large cost. So we're trying to mitigate that particular area as best we can. But we are aware of the leaks on Ossie Davis, and we're trying to figure that out. What I might do is just put actually, you probably can see this. If you look at the daily report that we do daily, you will see the leaks that we are addressing. Also, we have I think it's on the website. You can go to our maps, and you can see we got a dashboard with those leaks as well. So we have ways for you to kind of see, oh, okay, they're already addressing that leak or that pothole, that sinkhole. I'll have to call it in. But again, if you want to call it in, the fastest way versus get on that phone and try to call in somebody is just go ahead and use the app, take a picture, and like I say, potholes, more than likely it's going to be an immediate response the same time, the same day, because potholes are a little bit easier to fix versus the sinkholes and some of the leaks. And with the potholes, like I said, we're probably going to do a video instruction so everybody can kind of see how we do that. We don't just throw dirt in there and then cover it with asphalt. That's not how we do that. It's a certain measurement. We have some bonding material that goes in there that we have to do. We have to pack it in, reset it, then come back again and repack it. That's why a lot of times you'll see the pothole be blocked off for a few days. So it's more science to it than I think many people understand. But I feel like right now we probably need to do a video for that, so everybody can kind of grasp the concept. So what we do potholes, and so that's that. Make sure I have one more text coming here. Okay, with the canals. So like I said, we already had some trouble spots that we were aware of. These spots normally, although the canal, in many cases, it does get to the height of the drainage. I mean, of the area. So sometimes the water comes all the way to the crest, but in certain locations it exceeds that, and we were trying to figure out why. And then we started finding areas that was blocked, or the culvert was too small, or the water was going up here for a little bit. So we've been focusing on those areas right now because we know these areas cause flooding. We know that, like on a Dewey Street, actually on College Street, we know that's going to flood faster than anything else because it has in the past. So we went there first. And doing that, sometimes we have to get easements to get on properties to clean stuff out, and that's been a challenge for a long time now with some citizens. But like I said earlier, I really appreciate citizens here, here the last couple of months, because it's been really helpful with us on getting these easements and getting on those properties and cleaning those properties out. So we're not picking and choosing where to go. What we're doing is trying to take a approach to it that we're hitting our worst areas first that have already been identified, and then we'll hit those less trouble areas at a later date. So we will get to them though, and in some cases, extreme cases, we simply cannot access the canal because there's no place to access the canal. I hope that answers your question. Like I said, we don't pick and choose who to help. We try to use data and a little bit of science, and in some cases, a little bit of law to better address the canal maintenance. All right. That's all my texts. I'll stay on 2 more minutes. Just see if we got any other questions that come up from anybody before we leave. And again, I want to really thank you, citizens, for all the positive feedback that you provide daily. Like I said, we're human. I'm human. So that goes a long way when you say thank you. Not that it's expected, because we are hired to provide a service and do a job. But like I said, we are human, so it's good to get that good feedback some days, because everybody wants a pat on the back sometimes, especially when you're dealing with some really, really challenging problems that have been problems for many, many years. And the team here is really going all in to address these issues. And I'm proud of my workforce. The commission is proud of them. The mayor's proud of them. I know the majority of you are proud of them. I see it every day. I get a lot of phone calls just, thinking about the extra things, extra steps that some of our employees take. Even picking up I mentioned debris pickup. We got some of our employees that get out the truck and they'll break the debris and pick it back up, or help a citizen, an older citizen, move a trash can down to the pickup spot. They go above and beyond. And there are a lot of behind the scenes individuals that you'll never see, because they're the ones that shoot these videos. They're the ones that collect the data. They're the ones that send a survey out. They're the ones that's on point for reaching out to other communities for assistance and guidance and recommendations. So we got a great team. Like I say, the commission is proud of them. The mayor's proud of them. I'm proud of them. They're doing a great job right now to better this city. So I will put them up against anybody. Anybody. So. I was hoping to get at least one question. I feel like I've been talking a lot. I was hoping to get. I'd like to answer at least one question, so I don't feel like um, I didn't answer something for citizen today. But I guess it's one of those Thursdays. Everybody's ready to go home. All right. Well, what we're gonna do again? I want to thank our great Wake Cross citizens for everything they do. I forgot one mention. We do have Sergeant Sanders dinner coming up. I think Sunday, correct? And everybody know who Sergeant Sanders was, and I'll take a moment and just talk about her real fast because, um, you know, when we first got word of what was going on, I'm speaking from my perspective, not the Sanders family. Uh, I know they were devastated, but those of us who have served, and sometimes you get numb to these things, and you've heard me say it before. None of that was real for me until one of my friends got killed. That's when it became real. And this is years and years ago. And to have such a special person, a remarkable person, young lady at such an early age, it just hurts more. And but for me, for Kennedy, I remember prior to her transition, I was going through some things here in the city, and I think the worst of the worst was making me be the worst of my version of myself as well. And it was a lot going on. And even now, we've had a lot of demonstrations and counter demonstrations and arguments over this and that. But when we brought Kennedy home, that was the first time since I've been here that we had a united community. Everybody on that road, regardless of political affiliation or whatever, uh, they were there for Kennedy. And for that one moment, it brought us together. So that's why I keep thinking that we can get past some of our challenges we have here in communications or disagreements, because for that time period we was all in. We was recognizing what was important. You know, uh, so even in death, she still is making all of us be better, and I thank her for that. I never got a chance to meet Kennedy, but she made us all be accountable. We had to kind of quit all our little post hate and things we were doing day to day, and for a moment, just thank God for life, um, and I'll try to be better people. So I'm gonna always be grateful for Kennedy, Sergeant Sanders, and her family, because they've been a shining light here for this community, for me personally, because they kept me going in a time when I was thinking about um, leaving. So thank you, Kennedy. So if you can support this event, I think we got some flyers that went out a while back. We'll try to post them again today. I want to say tickets will be sold at the door probably, and you're gonna go. Um, and like I said, this is our hero, our Shiro, a great young lady, not just a soldier. She was everything, everything, in such a short time period, and she's owed the respect of that, for defending this nation, defending her home city. So with that, I want everybody to have a great day. Make sure you drink some water, eat some food, have some fun, laugh a little bit. And if you got any questions or concerns or comments, just reach out to us on Facebook, the app, in person, or by phone. And y'all have a great day.